Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Never Give Up Podcast. Staying here with your co-hosts like always, Romy and Rocky. We can get straight into it today, guys. As you can see from here, it's your structure is a living, breathing organism. We're gonna talk about taxes, LLC, all the good stuff. All right, guys.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, take a quick screenshot. We'll have this available too as well. First of all and foremost, full disclosure: we are not accountants. We're not
none at all.
We're not a legal advisors. We're just going to give you our concept of what you have to do as you move forward and kind of take it from there. So one of the things that I have learned in 2 centuries is that, man, if you're getting paid in employment, if you're getting paid in your business, what kind of business that you have to have set up an LLC. And LLC is so important. So we're going to quickly kind of dive into that, and we're going to make it brief. Again, speak to your accountant, speak to your attorneys. We are going to give you full disclosures that we have no idea.
No idea. None at all.
What a big
not legal, not any advice. It's just speculation and mere conversation. That's what this is.
All right.
So let's ask a big question in the room then. What is an LLC? What even LLC stand for?
Limited Liability Company.
Oh, wow.
We got some smart people in here.
Wow, man. I just learned something new.
Why do we have it? Let's ask that question first.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why do you need to have it if you are a entity that is getting revenue or getting any kind of source of income, and even to the extent of, even if you're an employee, again, advising you to speak to the right people. But let's say as real estate agent, as a property owner, as a flipper, as a business owner, whatever you're doing, you got to get an LLC, right? It's for privacy. It's for making sure that you're protected, make sure nobody comes after you, God forbid something happens. I have done that since, I think I created my first LLC a long time ago. I don't even know when, but I had no idea, because that's all I read about, is that to protect yourself, to save from taxes, to, include everything. I did it, but I never did it correctly, if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to show you how to do it correctly, or we're going to give you advice, what we recommend on doing that. First and foremost, get your LLC in order, right? Get an accountant. You can probably Google it, YouTube it, how to go out there and find what an LLC is. If you know nothing about it, pick up a book, right? There's thousands and thousands and thousands. Try to keep it simple. It's not that complicated. Leave it to the tax guy or accountant or attorney to figure out the legality, but you need to know the basics of that as you move forward. So the first and foremost, before you got to get the trust, you got to get the will, all that into order, but you got to have a holding company in place. If you don't have a holding company in place, from Nevada, Denver, Wyoming, they are the most protected one right now. You have to have somebody open up a holding company, and under that, you want to have your LLC as you move forward, which is pretty awesome, because I heard things differently where it was the LLCs first and then put it into a trust. But no, what I'm hearing right now is that get a holding company, and under the holding company, and I'm going to take Rocky for example. He's doing 2-3 businesses for right now. He has his real estate, he has his Uber company, and he's opening up a daycare, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All those 3 things that is happening with my Mr. Entrepreneur right here. And he's
there he is.
And working out, man.
There you go.
All right. Somebody like him is saying, okay, do I open up different LLC? Right? What do I do? Where do we go off from? So actually, we're going to take Rocky as an example. Let him ask the questions. Me and George probably going to answer it, just to kind of get a quick.
Answer the best way possible.
Questions and answers. Q&A.
Come on, guys.
Q&A. Oh my God. I think I'm on steroids. But let's move forward.
All right. So here's my first question, guys. Like you guys just said, I had 3 businesses about to open up. 2 of them already open. One's open soon. What should I do first? You just mentioned a holding company. Should I get one LLC for each business, or should I just get one holding company?
Yep. So what you're going to do, Rocky, is get first a holding company that's going to hold those LLCs under that holding company. Now, one of the most important things that you want to structure out in those holding company, is it going to be LLC taxed as an S corp? Is anybody getting paid in your company as a W-2 or as an employee? right? What are the different entities that you have, and how much is going to be a passive LLC or a active LLC? The difference between both of them is pretty simple. An active LLC is getting money that's consistently coming in. You're writing up for your expenses, you're paying yourself, and then you are getting a lump sum of as a business owner. A passive LLC is going to be, hey, the perfect example, the simplest example is going to be you buy a property, right? And those property is under an LLC, right? And then under the LLC is going to be this property that you purchased, and you're getting a passive income that's coming in, right? That passive income is consistently coming in at $1,500 minus expenses. You're making $500. That's a passive income that's in there. So you would actually create 3 different LLCs. Now, people have done it under one LLCs under the holding company, or they have done, because it's 3 different entities, you're going to get 3 different assurances. I would definitely recommend an LLCs with three LLCs with different assurances. Insurance are important because business could go wrong, crazy things could happen. But that holding company is the main piercing part. So God forbid, again, like I said, Rocky, if something does happen, you're driving when people are driving and get into an accident, first they have to pierce the LLC, then they have to pierce the holding company before they come to you or whatever have you, and the insurance company too as well. Now, what I have learned in the last couple of weeks is that you have to make sure that the operating agreement is structured out correctly. Because if you want to go for loans, if you want to open up an account, if you want to do your taxes, the operating agreement is done correctly, and it is done with an intent to making sure that tomorrow you could borrow against your holding company, borrow against your LLCs, because your operating agreement, which I haven't done for my company until somebody brought it, which was Chase Bank, and said, hey, we need to get your operating agreement. I'm like, well, you need that for? I didn't even know what it was. I had to research that before.
I was just about to ask you, what's that?
An operating agreement is just a basic agreement. Who's going to be what? Are you the CEO?
I see.
Let's take your wife as the CFO. Let's take your employee as an employee, right? And it's in there, and who has what shares. So when you're going for a loan, when you're going for insurance, when you're going for a property that you're going to purchase tomorrow or a car that you're going to purchase, that operating agreement is really, really vital on who you bring in. And again, you don't want to just give it to somebody. Sometimes I thought I was going to give it to my kids. Well, I'll give 1% here, 5%. Don't do that.
You could give me 100%. I won't mind.
Don't do that. Put your kids in the holding, or which is your trust. Rocky, go ahead. What's next?
So my other question is this. So if I have a holding, does the holding also pay taxes, or how does that work?
Yeah, the holding company does not pay taxes. It's just a holding company. It's a pierce through. And basically what happens is you have your LLC here. Your pierce through is here. So God forbid something happens here, in order for them to get to you for insurance purposes, they have to pierce through the holding company. And again, like I said, we're going very basics, but you could get into technically the LLC is making enough money. They're putting it into the holding company. The holding company could borrow money. I mean, there's your kids could take out money. You could get the holding company owns these many different LLCs, which have properties, and you could borrow against the holding company as a whole.
Now, what exactly is a holding company? I know we talk about Chase Bank and other banks and stuff, but like, someone's going to ask that. What exactly is a holding company? How does someone get the best holding company?
The best holding company is from Denver, Wyoming, and I just had it a couple of seconds ago.
Can we even say the name? We probably can. It'll be fine.
It's a state. So
okay.
No, sorry, Nevada, Wyoming, and Delaware. Okay, why?
Yeah, I hear Delaware a lot.
Yeah, Delaware.
Because they're protected. There to protect you. If you get it in New York, they're easy could be pierced through. It's called a piercing through, where somebody's gonna sue you. They're not gonna come after you. They're gonna try to pierce through all your companies that are out there. So that's why it's important. I always heard that too, Rocky, and it's funny because I'm like, okay, do I create an LLC there? Do I create? It doesn't make sense. So it makes sense now. For example, my example, I have 3 companies: one in New York, one in Connecticut, one in Carolinas. So I will open an LLC. If I bought a property in an LLC, if I bought a property in Carolinas, I would open an LLC here because I want to go with the tax bracket here. If I bought a property in New York, I would open up an LLC under New York, and because the tax bracket is different, or Connecticut, right? But the holding company owns all those things and kind of protects you with the different layers. So
got it. So my next question would be that. So each LLC, for example, you said Carolinas, Connecticut, New York, each LLC will pay their own taxes, right? Yes. They're not all together.
So separate.
So think about it, because your expenses are going to be different than in Carolinas and then from New York, right? I have more expenses there where I have, a team leader, a manager, or whatever have you, right? So I could have a property manager. I could have, my brother cleaning up, or my cousins, fixing up the properties. Again, it is about a lot of write-offs and so on and so forth.
So my next question would be that. So as you have an example, I have the daycare, the Uber, and then the real estate. So if I was to have the LLC for each one of them, separate LLC, how would I work? Because in the daycare, I will have people that I have to pay for. I will have, the cleaning lady, and then the people that's working, they help me take care of the child, the kids. And then in the Uber, it's just me. So, whatever I do in Uber will be just straightforward to me. There will be no employee. But then when we go to the real estate, maybe I'll have somebody that help me with transaction words, or I want to create marketing, so I have to pay that out. So how would I work each of those payments out?
Well, that's a P&L, right? That's a profit and loss for each and every one.
Mm-hmm.
So you itemize that and end of the month or quarterly or whatever have you, and you will either pay.
It's like statements you gotta write out, yeah.
Yeah. And then that's where you will say, hey, okay, I paid myself. Then after that, I have, I don't know, let's take $1,000 in profit, right? That's what you're going to get taxed on. So,
hi, George. We lost you right there real quick.
Yeah, we lost you for a sec. Yeah, it froze.
I'm sorry, man. This is happy with technology. Did I change now?
You're good. You're good now.
Yeah, you were telling me if I pay myself 1,000 and then we lost
there's going to be a net profit after all your expenses, after paying even the CEO of the company and the employees of the company, and then that's what you're going to pay taxes on, which is your capital gain. So, but you're going to write off as much as possible through the LLC for each entity that you have. Now, again, like I said, with a couple of people that are doing flips, you could have 5. Let's take an individual that's doing 20 flips, 5 flips each quarter. Right, he's only going to create 5 LLCs, and each quarter he's going to use the LLC. He flips this, he got the capital gain or write off the expenses. The next year, the next quarter, he's going to use one LLC for 4 flips and use that as an ongoing LLC. You don't want to create 20 LLC. It doesn't make sense. Now, some people do it, but if you are a person that's building and holding and doing something, then yeah, I mean, again, it depends on your situation. So again, this doesn't, like we said, guys, this doesn't fit every situation that is out there, but we're going with the very basic. And I think the basics is so important because people don't understand. I mean, especially in the real estate industry, I'm just like baffled. Like, why don't you have your LLC? Anything that you make over $100,000 in real estate, you need to put that. Any kind of equity that you have or property that you have, you need to put that in there. And again, you need to be insured too as well.
Let's go in that quick question to that real estate thing. Let's say, for example, someone's joining in, a new agent coming in tomorrow. That's starting the first day, right? Do you recommend they start the LLC like first paycheck, first moment? Like, what recommendation would you give them, right? When it comes to that?
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
I would. It's just a better write-off. Some people will say, wait to 50 grand, wait to 100 grand. Why wait? I mean, if you're going to be committed to this stuff, then why don't you just do it in the very beginning? If you're not committed, you're not we're betting against each other, right? So if you're not betting against you, then you're not going to do it. If you're betting against you, I mean, you're saying, yeah, I'm going to win, then hey, listen, I'm going to quit the LLC. And again, you could wait. I mean, but minimum of 100,000. If you're going up to 100,000, you should be writing it off because you're going to pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
I heard some rumor out there, some crazy payback taxes, man. So my other question would be this. If I have an LLC and I have 2 employees, can I pay those employees a W-2 or would it just be 1099 to them?
Depending on how you want to do it. I mean, W-2 entails about workers' comp, Social Security.
No, look at that face. He was like, when he heard all that, he's like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. You have to take down the taxes. Something like that. I use ADP, and there's other companies that are out there, Pay Quick or Pay This, whatever. You could do it through QuickPicks. You could do it through your accountant. I like ADP, and just for reference, easy, simple, and they'll take out everything that they need to take out.
But automated.
W-2, and yeah, there was different liabilities, but there's also different benefits of that too as well.
Got it.
situation. Okay. Depends on what you really want at the end of the day, then how you want to go about it.
I mean, think about it with a W-2. You get into insurance, you get into a lot
You have
of
employees. You gotta.
nine. It just and contractors, then they have to create an LLC, then they have to write off everything again. I think every situation is completely different, and I think you have to kind of pick your situation where you're going. And again, the beauty about the LLC, you could always change, right? You could do an S corp, but you're paying yourself, right? I'm actually doing that for this year. You could do a C corp, tax as a C corp, but not having to provide all the documentations. Again, there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about.
So this is the
I really do want to keep
me.
it basics,
This
right?
stuff
Because
should be taught at
if we
school,
keep
but
it basic,
think about it.
it gets so complicated, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden they're confusing me. It's like, okay, and somebody who's thinking about, you know what, I'm gonna create a trust. If you're, me and my wife spoke about it, and we're gonna create a trust, we're gonna create a will, we're gonna have a holding company, and then that holding company is gonna have 2, 3, or 4 or 5 different entities that's buying stuff and selling stuff or holding stuff, and that allows us to keep everything under one umbrella, and that umbrella could grow out to be its own bank. So again, think of a long term. So if you are starting off your LLCs right now, hold off. I do recommend holding off. We'll have the information, or reach out to us. We'll give you somebody that you could do a 45 minutes consultation with, and they'll be able to help you out and kind of give you an analysis on what they think. What I'm told is that if you have multiple businesses, definitely want to get a holding company. If you just have one, still get a holding company. But like Rocky said, I already created 2. Well, did you create everything with it? Maybe they could pick it up, and maybe they could structure it out right, because it's just not about it's not just about putting an LLC together. It's about operating agreement, registration, amendments. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes back in the back end that you would not know, and I didn't know, by 2-3 weeks getting educated through EXP, by the way. They're like, teaching you how to be a real business owner instead of just being, hearing something from your friends or family member online.
And not just that, each state has their own regulation too that you have to follow to the T, completely different. And my other question, I know if I don't ask this, the people in the comments and they'll be like, how you didn't ask this question? If I have an LLC, can I use the LLC to finance something? So I don't have to finance under my credit, or it has to be everything under my personal credit?
Again, it's how you structure it out, right? If you go in with the LLC that you're giving up your personal information, then you're still liable for it. So again, it's how you structure it out.
The most interesting thing I heard there was when you said use it as a bank, when you talk about the trust with your kids, like the 5. So theoretically speaking, if you have, right, in theory, you can use a holding company as leverage in a sense. You can use that to finance.
Yeah, many things that you could do with it.
Many areas. Yeah.
When I was reading a whole bunch of stuff, I'm an avid listener right now, but it was, you probably see it on TikTok and Instagram, and it's great analogy, like, oh, I gotta go do this. But when you start digging into it and you actually speak to the experts, you're like, how do I do it? Right? It's like somebody buys a property, and that property is owned by the holding company, which is the LLC. The LLC eventually sells it. Now it has, I don't know, $200,000 of equity inside of it. What do you do with the equity? As you guys know, 1030 exchange, 1031 exchange is really where you have to go buy another one without paying capital gain. What if the holding company sells it and holds the money, and can they lend that out to buy more properties? Yeah, there's different tactics that are out there that could happen. Tomorrow, Rocky, you build your business to a certain amount and you want to sell your business. Well, okay, great. Now you made a profit. You can either pay capital gain with a 38% or more, or you could pay 15% or 20% or less, right? Obviously, the whole idea is to keep your money. But how do you do that? And how do you use that money? And where do you put that money into next? Well, let the holding company become a bank. And the bank will, just like a bank, give you a loan, and you pay the holding company 1%, 2%, 3% instead of going to a bank. Like I said, it just opened up your mind a little bit, what that entails, and mostly entails is a holding company. Again, you're going to have your trust, your will, and you're going to have, power of attorney, but the trust is going to go right into the holding company, and the holding company is going to have different pillars of LLCs that are out there, even from trading, even from the stuff that is out there. This topic is like endless, right? So so definitely think about the holding and LLC. I know a lot of people out there, which I didn't agree in the very beginning either, saying, hey, create an S corp. Well, what does an S corp do? Well, it still doesn't put you out of liability as a real estate agent, but now I do believe it's LLC, but getting taxed as an S corp. Now
Got it.
what that difference was, which, yeah, you want to get taxed at the S Corp.
There's a lot of things to this that has to be like delved in. Again, speak to your accountant, speak to your professional. And if you need a 45-minute consultation, there we go. Just shoot us a message or write us, and we'll definitely get back to you guys on that.
And you know how we do it, guys. Like everyone we talk a topic, we end up bringing some professional on just to delve in more, ask some questions. Besides finding out their life story, we also find out the good information for you guys. So definitely any other questions you guys have, feel free to comment in the below. Reach out to us. We're here for you guys. And, we're here.
Yeah, build your legacy, guys.
What do you guys think? And I can't think that back because maybe I'm that old. Put some gray hair. But think about it. If you are making a certain amount of money in real estate, and let's just talk about real estate agents that are out there, why haven't you started the LLC? Is it because of the understanding? Is it that you just don't get it? Are you lazy? Like, what was it? An agent will come.
Knowledge.
It's definitely going back to, me and George being more new than you and being young. Now that you talked that topic, I had a bone to choose with this whole topic. As a new agent, a lot of the old agent, the seasoned agent, like they super seasoned, they don't want to just put that knowledge out there. And, not you, because you always been there besides being my mentor and always being reachable. But a lot of those seasoned agents, when we first started, it's like, oh no, this is a new competition. Let me not give them anything. Let me just keep it to myself. And it's hard to find somebody like Rami. And you're like, Rami's like, yo, what are you waiting for? We stayed eating as a team. And he's like, "Oh, you guys have LLC?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What you mean?"
LLC.
As a realtor, you need an LLC. And George and me are looking at each other like, LLC for what? Like, 1099. Like we get
where's the money? Well, how much?
Like need an LLC. So everybody's not like you, and I want to commend you for that, Rami. But that's really what it is. Knowledge. It's not easy to get information.
George, you shut up. What happened?
No, so I heard someone knock on the door that's opening slowly.
So it's definitely that.
Door, George.
Give me 1 sec.
George, 1 sec.
No, we're good. Keep it up, finish it up. We don't stop.
So it's definitely that, the knowledge is not there, and everybody's not as lucky as we got you as a mentor and
100%.
as a partner to be there and answer those. Now, not for anything, but when you first join real estate, any company you go to, they don't really give you the tea. And I feel like with this whole business, you go little by little, you open different doors to knowledge, and very few times that you're gonna get somebody gonna be like, here's all the knowledge, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, people don't give it that to you a lot of times. You gotta search to find it or really dive deep and find the right individual, ask questions. And it's really lucky, and it's a privilege to have someone that gives that information, guys. It really is, and I appreciate it. Rocky appreciate it. We really appreciate it. It's necessary. That's how you move quicker, but taking a lot less time to get there, without making the same mistakes along the way. And that's how you grow generation by generation.
And then, as a new agent, you can't just go and hire a coach because they'll be like, oh, hire your coach. You
2,000, 4,000, 6,000.
And, it's hard. So,
yeah. I mean,
definitely.
A lot of the time, I think that's what it is. I think maybe it's competition, maybe something else. Maybe I don't want to give you time. Maybe I got too much on my plate. I mean, I don't know what their agenda is, but I think that more and more information, we already in the information age now. AIs are coming out like freaking crazy, and I don't want to do a topic on that. I think there's too many freaking.
I love technology.
People are like jumping. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. You don't know what the hell is that, man. Focus on you.
No one knows. But
focus on your freaking what you have in front of you, and then it was just like back in the day when the internet came out. And you're just jumping on the internet. You're like, oh my God, internet's here. Like, this world's going to be over. Everybody's going to be running around and shooting everybody or something like that. I mean, and nothing ever happened like that. AI is just going to give you more information, more available information. And I think that if you're an avid learner and avid grower, and I think we talked about this morning, that what book you're reading, what you're listening to. And if you're not doing that, and I'll be honest with you, after 30, I was like, I don't need to learn anything. And I need to grow. After 35, I was like, I need to get into something. And since that day on, I think it had just been a university in my car and my, headset and my reading a book or, just listening to something. And I'm not saying I'm the most smartest guy or I know just a little bit. I know enough to kind of, survive out there. So the quote is always like what Forrest said, hey, I'm probably not the smartest guy, but I hire the most smartest person around me. And which is so important, and do that, so
100%, man. And there's another episode. We cannot finish the episode without asking you the key question. You have the book right behind you, 75 Hard. Are we still strong going?
Yeah,
or you fall off?
Let's go. I mean,
There we
it's
go.
a struggle. I ain't gonna lie to you. This morning is the same thing. I gotta get out of bed. I gotta go work out. I gotta go do a walk at 1. Today we did a little bit early, and actually at 1. And the mindset is I'm just trying to create that discipline for me and tackle my mind to say I could do more, I could do more, I could do more. So when I get in front of a phone, when I'm tackling an issue, when I'm dealing with real estate and anything that's my main primary business, it's like the brain kind of says, hey, if I could do this, I could do that, right? So again, discipline your mind, creating a habit as we move forward. So
all right, guys, you heard it from the man.
Yep.
All right, awesome, guys. I mean, listen, at the end, at the end of the day, which I hate that freaking quote. At the end of the day, what does that?
At the end of the day,
what does the end of the day mean? Tomorrow is gonna come anyways, right? So,
Nope.
so here's the thing. I don't know what they're gonna cut off, what they're gonna keep on here, but listen, when you are in a position to actually learn something, and you are starting a business, that you're starting a legacy, do it correctly. Speak to 2 or 3 people that are out there, and there's, I'm just reading a comment from someone right now. Oh, be careful, do this, do that. Well, great, I could be careful, but I just learned something that I didn't know something before, right? Because we're just talking about this whole LLC, and we were talking about the holding company, but I just learned something that I didn't know before. And I'm pretty sure this person didn't know that before either, because they were just going about the day. Now, I'm probably going to or not going to use that company. I don't know yet, but I think what you have to take away from this is that put the learning cap on, put the mastery cap on. If you're building business like Rocky is, making sure, and George is making sure that you have enough knowledge to say, hey, I'm going to go this way. And yeah, you're going to make mistakes. I have made many mistakes, even my LLCs. I had the wrong accountant at one time, wasn't filing taxes because I was making none. And I just learned that you have 3 years that you could go out with filing taxes on the company and creating losses. I didn't know that. But again, you live and you learn. So push yourself to learn something. Be great, guys. Never give up. Keep pushing yourself as you move forward. I'm out.
Thanks, guys. Would you like to see?
Go.
Come on.
Guns. I got the little ones. All right, brothers. Peace out.
All right,
Peace out, man. Take care, guys.